Hey everybody, this is Sifu Z, that's Johan. We're here at the Colorado Kwoon in Denver. This is the Intro to Wing Chun series. So far we've talked about the basic principle of Wing Chun. We even went into the basic concept of punching, kicking, getting the ground, or shall we say developing a relationship with the ground underneath you, delivering the power from the ground out to your extremities, right? The root principle of Wing Chun. That's what we've gone over so far. So can you guess what's today's lesson?
I've been thinking about it all day, but
this is probably going to be a duh moment. The Wing Chun system itself. I have not explained thus far what does the Wing Chun system comprise of.
Is it time for the forms?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of vaguely talked about a few forms and a couple more forms, muk jung, sandbags, stuff like that. Talked about the grounding and whatnot, but we haven't talked about what exactly comprises of Wing Chun, or what Wing Chun comprises of.
Right.
So, let's start with the three forms, and they're in order of importance. In other words, you usually learn them in this particular order. They could be called open hand forms, right? So the first form is Sium Tao. Some people pronounce it or even spell it Siulum Tao. I've heard it said Shaolin Tao, for Shaolin, right? Or Siu Mim Tao. That's the way I've been saying it for a while now. But Siulum Tao loosely translated as little mind fist. I've always considered that to mean detail, just the little details, right? Little mind fist, detail. And this form is what we consider our Qigong form. So when we say Qigong, we mean developing energy, developing power. Essentially, it's our exercise. Isodynamic tension style of exercise. Some do it in a very soft, fluid manner, but my orientation to Sium Tao has always been to really compress, right?
Yes. So,
that's the first form, our Qigong form, called Sium Tao. Our second form, our second open hand form, is known as Chung Kyu. Now, Chung Kyu is really the first form where we consider fighting application, or application, let's just say, okay? So, Chung Kyu means bridging the gap, rather creating the bridge or destroying the bridge. So that's essentially a metaphor for when we touch, that's creating the bridge, and when we break apart, that's destroying the bridge. So Chung Kyu, the second form, is really the form where we start thinking in those terms. Chung Kyu, second form. This is also the form where we start seeing the footwork of the Wing Chun system. The third form, Buji. Buji means thrusting fingers, or just simply thrusting. And Buji is sort of the final chapter. Sounds like an Ip Man movie, right? Buji, Buji is typically thought of as the lethal form, right? but I like to think of it as the finalization, right? The Qigong gets your strength up, right? The Chun Kyu teaches you to position yourself, right? And the Buji, you finish.
Right.
So that's the way I look at Buji, and therefore a thrusting can happen. Now, Buji is also known for recovery. Now this is interesting. Not just recovery from getting in a bad position and thrusting in order to regain your structure, but it's also known for recovery for yourself, for your body, in order to, if you're trying to get your body in shape after an injury, spinal injury, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure certain injuries this doesn't apply to, but certainly for like hip and spine type stuff there, I've certainly used it for that. I wouldn't suggest anyone doing it without consulting a doctor first, right? But Buji is the thrusting fingers, thrusting the arms, right? And I won't go into detail of any of those forms, but those are the three empty-handed Wing Chun forms: Siu Tao, Chun Kyu, and Buji. Now, there's also the Mukjung, and a form that's done on the Mukjung. We also do it without the Mukjung. We call it Invisimuk. So we have now what could be considered a fourth form, but it's not really an empty-handed form. But we do it empty-handed, especially for those that don't have a Mukjung. We can still do the form, so that way when they do get the Mukjung, they can just apply the form to the Mukjung. So then there's the two weapons forms. That's the Barjamdo, the butterfly swords, right? You're probably familiar with these, or you may have seen these. Again, I'm not going to really go into great detail about the Barjamdo or the butterfly swords. And then there's the 9-foot pole, which we'll be acquiring in the very near future, and we'll make sure we show it to you as soon as we get it. Those two forms, the weapons forms, Barjamdo and the pole form. And that's it. So we're talking 6 forms altogether. So when we talk about Wing Chun being a very compact form, that's what we mean. There's not a lot of martial arts, certainly not traditional martial arts, that only have 6 forms. Right? So, but within those 6 forms, and I'll even say within the one form, Siu and Tao, there's a whole world of martial art in there. That's why I call it the dichotomous key of martial arts, because at first what seems very simple, the complexity, it allows you, from the simplicity, you can start getting into the complex. Boy, I did not say that gracefully, but okay. So that is the Wing Chun system. And you know, if you travel or you move around a lot, maybe you can't get a Mukjung, but you can always get a sandbag, and you can always empty the sand and put the canvas bag in your pocket, and then fill it back up when you get to your new destination. So, and this is one of the most important elements of our training, the sandbag. So, but even more important than the sandbag is just understanding the grounding, which we've already gone over, and the 3 empty hand forms. Chris Chan says you can become a Kung Fu master with just the Siu Tao one, just the first form.
Incredible.
of the Wing Chun system. And until you do Wing Chun for a while, you might not quite understand what he means by that, but you get it, right?
Yeah.
I certainly get it.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, and you can make a one-time contribution to this series by going to paypal.me/Sifu Z, spelled capital S, lowercase I, F, U, uppercase Z, all one word. That's paypal.me/Sifu Z. All the previous lessons I'll have listed down here for you in the descriptions. So be sure to check those out if you haven't seen them all. And I'd like to thank Johan and the Colorado Kwoon for sponsoring this series, and we'll see you next class.
Yeah.
Next lesson.
Next lesson.
Next lesson. All right.